spoiled so far in this match. There have been
Oh,
so many brilliant tactics shown. We're only what is this, like 6 games in or 5 games in? But I mean, it's been a fascinating display and another amazing illustration.
another gem, and Nihal's wins have been so gritty, but it took him a millisecond to find 96. And Jeffrey, we kind of called it earlier. It's really only a matter of time. When you've got 2 seconds against Nihal in a complicated position, he is going to trick you one way or the other. Might take him 5 moves, might take him 15. It's going to happen. That was a beautiful mating combination in the end game.
Incredible stuff we're witnessing so far.
Okay, and we have a Karokan. A little bit of a toned down opening after that display of fireworks and the
Yeah, I
short
thought
variation.
I was thinking Nihal might actually go back to the E45 because I love his position with that
Mm-hmm.
unorthodox setup, 97 G6. But as I said before the match, he does like to mix things up.
Yep, and I've seen him play the Karokan pretty consistently. He also likes the French. So, okay, so knight h6, very typical developing square. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeffrey. I'm not a big specialist in this line, but I've seen the knight jump into f5, kind of like in the French. I mean, there's a lot of shared ideas with the advanced French.
I feel like F6 might be his idea. Sometimes the knight retreats itself to F7, finds
Mm-hmm.
a home there. You
There we
fight for
go. Good
this
call.
very important E5.
And the position's going to get very sharp, especially if we have a trade on f6 and the center opens up. You sometimes see black castling queenside here.
Now, I was even
Okay.
considering taking with the pawn, but maybe it would have been too much. Queen takes F6. He just wants to go knight F7, bishop D6, and finish his development.
Yeah, knight b3. Anish paving open the diagonal for his bishop and deploying it to e3. But again, I think Nihal has handily solved all of his opening problems.
Yeah, I love this. And he's going to generate an initiative once again sooner or later with this E5 move, which you're highlighting. And as white, where exactly are you going to be playing?
Yeah, what's your knight doing? What's your bishop doing? And as you said, what are you doing against the positional threat of e5? And they're actually going to get a similar structure, Jeffrey, oddly enough, to that e4, e5 game. Like they might get an identical pawn structure with this pawn chain in the center.
Yeah, Anish got the better of him. Like he did win that game, but that
Mm-hmm.
was dangerous. Like I thought I would have been shaking in my boots as Anish. He handled it very well. I'm not sure if he can get away with it twice in a row though.
I think Anish is a slippers kind of guy. I don't know. Just a guess.
So I think he's ready for E5. I know Rook A1 is always useful, but I still see nothing wrong with just an E5 break here.
Yeah, you don't want to overcook it because, and I think that might be what he's doing. He throws in h6, just cover g5 square. He basically says there's no hurry. But does this give Anish a chance to prepare himself better for e5? And if so, how?
Yeah, I would consider. I was gonna say was considering a maneuver like knight c1, get the knight in the center, but it's gonna try queen d1. Not sure exactly what the concept is, but perhaps just another useful waiting move, anticipating e5.
Yeah, maybe just, moving the queen out of the line of fire of a potential knight that appears on e5, taking the sting out of
Mm-hmm.
knight c4. Nihal continues to prepare it and prepare it. And I think he's going to go rook a to e8 now.
Yeah, this one I quite like because I don't see any disadvantage to playing b6. So I like that he's brought his final piece into the game. Full
Yep.
army now participating, and e5. I mean,
I
oh, but
mean,
knight h2
there
is
we go.
nice. Knight h2, I think he wants. Does he? I was gonna say maybe he had bishop g4, but
I
yeah,
thought
this
bishop
is
g4 too, but he goes knight g4. Now the queen kind of sinks its teeth into this very nice square on h4. It's actually very safe there
mm-hmm.
for the time being. Okay, trade on e5.
Yeah, it feels
This
like
is
all the black pieces are just lurking around white's king.
Yeah, this is starting to heat up seriously. And that, I think, is the drawback of b6. You've got this very tender pawn on c6 now, so you can't as easily move the knight away from e5. And if you lose that pawn, and by the way, Jeffrey, knight takes c6 is a threat right
It
here and
is.
right now. which I just realized.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I was gonna suggest move like King H8 or King H7. You might still have Knight C6.
Oh, because you're forking the two minors. Maybe Rook F6 there at the end, but I agree, it gets super messy.
Yeah, that is quite amusing. And how else do you take care of the issue?
Yeah, like how do you defend against this very obvious threat? Oh my gosh. I don't see it off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Bishop E4, but that feels loose. It can always be kicked.
Oh my god, and you can maybe still play knight takes c6 and follow up with the slow move f3.
That
I mean, this is
would be
unbelievable.
crazy.
And obviously, bishop f7 walks into knight f5. That's 1-0.
Easy to
It's just a
easy to
fork.
blunder such things. Um, is there no, there's really not. I'm trying to investigate like King H7, Knight C6, Knight
Mm-hmm.
C6, Queen D5. I'm trying to investigate that because otherwise you don't want to make a move like Bishop E4.
Really fast, if we could bring him an analysis board as Nihal continues to ponder. Well, actually, just as I said that, of course, he waited for me to say that and then played the move bishop e4.
Ah, he did
Uh,
play it.
yeah, so I was just going to point out real fast that in this position, there is this idea of going rook to f6, but after takes, you can't take on c6, but you can play the simple move rook d1, and you're
Oof.
basically just skewering all of black's minor pieces. So maybe Nihal calculated this, decided that it was out of the question, and opted for your initial suggestion, bishop e4. And here I was saying that you can still take on c6 and play f3. Is there any merit to that?
It feels too weakening though on the diagonals, right? Like you're weakening the squares there around the king. So I just feel intuitively I would go for something else.
Agreed.
I'm gonna
And he does go for something
simplify.
else.
Does he have
I don't
F4 here?
know.
No, it's still F4 Knight
Ugh.
G6.
And there's this queen g3 idea that could come knocking if you play f3 at the wrong moment.
Oh my, I mean,
By
yeah,
the
there
way,
could
also
be.
queen f4, queen g3.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this could get scary.
I don't like knight takes e5. I feel like that
He
unties
might have,
black's hands.
right, he might have needed that knight too to, I mean, engage in the defense of white's king. So now I feel like he wanted to follow it up with F4, but he realized that would just be too weakening. Like all these Queen G3, Knight G6
Oh,
ideas
he
are too
plays
weak.
f3. But what do you do after queen g3?
I
And
assume
it's
Bishop
f takes
F2? Bishop
bishop
F2?
f2. Oh my god, there are some crazy tactics there.
But there might be something. My juices are flowing. Like Knight G. Whoa, Knight
Oh,
G4
totally.
takes Queen G3. Wait, look at Knight G4 here.
Oh my god, knight g4 first. What a move. Okay, analysis board, please. Knight g4.
But hang
If
on,
eight.
FG?
So
Yes.
this is mate. Just to show that real fast. FG.
Queen
Here.
G3, Bishop F3. What is this?
So what if you start with bishop takes g2?
Oh my god, that is lethal.
I mean, you called the main idea. This is mate. Holy smokes. Here, queen g3 and queen h2.
And he's locking in. He smells something.
He does, but will he see knight g4? And he
Oh.
does! He does!
I
It's on
cannot
the
believe
board.
this. Like, this match, you could not have asked for more tactics to start.
No, it's crazy how many combinations we've had from both players. And Anish leaning in. He's like, WTF is this? Oh, it's over.
Oh, man.
Knight g4
But
ends the
this
game.
is just part one. This is part one. Like, it's easy to get tempted with Queen G3. I was tunneling on Queen G3, but let's see
Totally.
if
And
Nihal...
bishop f3 holds on.
Yeah, does he see that Bishop takes G2 idea? I feel like...
He
But,
pre-moved
he
it.
pre-moved it. There's your answer.
Exactly. That was a statement
Wow.
move, and the way he delivered it was a statement move. And White's kingside collapses.
That is sick.
I guess you can try knight f5 maybe just to muddy the waters, but Nihal has way too much time on his clock for any of that to work.
Right, just Queen H3 there. He's going to
Just
try to
pre-moving.
relieve pressure on that file, but I mean, another rook just shows up.
Knight f5, rook f5, and queen g3 is how the game might end.
Lights out. There's also Queen
Unbelievable.
H3. I'm not sure which is cleaner. I mean, it's hard to argue with the one you suggested.
Yeah, because it just feels like there's so many mate threats there. Nihal is going to double check it. And without
Man,
further ado, he ends the game. Unbelievable. Bishop f2, queen h2 mate.
this really is a heavyweight match. And